Hare Krishna and welcome everyone to our weekly Bhagavad Gita session. And so today's topic for discussion is Krishna, the original person. We'll try to discuss on based on this theme today, and we will refer to a couple of verses, in fact, three verses from 10th chapter for the same. Before that, let's take a look at what theme has been going on in the up till now in our discussion. So the common thread that we've been discussing is that the Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between two people who love each other, who wish best for each other, who are hiteshi of each other. Hiteshi is means the well-wisher, and who are ready to do anything for each other, and both expressing this desire to help each other in any possible way. So it's a commitment coming from both. So the one person is asking for help, other person is offering help wholeheartedly without holding things back at any given point of time. So this is the conversation that which started with a question asked by Arjuna, that pruchhami tvam dharma samudha cheta yechreya syanishchitam bruhitan me shishyaste aham shadhimatvam prapannam. So both were friends until till that moment, and from that moment onwards, one person, Arjuna, accepted the shishyatva, or the disciple, become disciple. He said, I'm surrender soul unto you, unto your lotus feet. Now you please instruct me. What instructions is he desiring? He's instructing, he wants to know what is best for him. Shishya Shishyaste aham shadhimatvam prapannam. I'm surrendering to you. What do you tell me? What you should tell me? Yet shreya. Shreya is what is best. What is best for me? स्यान निश्चितम ब्रूहितन में, वो निश्चित करके आप मुझे कृपया बताइए. ऐसे नहीं कि ये भी अच्छा है वो भी अच्छा है, ऐसा नहीं. मुझे मेरे लिए क्या अच्छा है. Now it could be a student going to a counselor, career counselor, and then he may जनरली डिस्क्राइब आर्ट्स लेंगे तो ऐसा होगा, कॉमर्स लेंगे तो ऐसा होगा, साइंस लेंगे ये करियर ऑप्शन है, और कुछ लेंगे, कमर्शियल आर्ट लेंगे तो ये करियर ऑप्शन है. आप सारे अच्छे हैं, आप कुछ भी ले लो, ऐसा नहीं चाहिए. दिस काइंड ऑफ एडवाइस अर्जुन इज नॉट आस्किंग. ही सेड, you know me, you know my nature, you know who am I, and with that knowledge you now tell me what is best for me, what is that single thing which is best for me. And this is what he referred to it as a dharma samudha cheta. Why the question is being asked? Because Arjuna is not able to make up his mind on what to do. Since then, the entire conversation has evolved in that mood that Krishna is instructing Arjuna. So the instructions are given by us, but parents give instructions to children because parents have their children's best interest in their mind. Now those instructions at times can be perceived as little restrictions on freedom that a student may desire. A student may desire to play all the time. However, a good parent will yena kena prakarena force student to take some rest, do some studies, eat food timely, and clean himself and do the other things also other than playing. Those things a student may not consider, a small child may not consider very important at his age or her age. However, going forward, he realizes that had that not been done, he could have been a completely messy person when he grew up. So this is what a teacher should also do. Parents are like first teachers. Teachers are also guru should also do to his shishya. Yena kena prakarena, he should engage him in doing activities which are best for him. So whatever guru will talk will have elements of information, elements of instructions, and he's giving this out of love, not we are referring to gurus of earlier era who were not paid servants. Even in today's times, we see some teachers who are extremely dedicated, and they don't teach for the salary that they get. They teach for the love of teaching. They love their students. They want their students to do the best. They do everything and anything under their control to make sure that students are given all the best facilities, so that using which a student can flourish, so student can score good marks, or he can excel in whatever the field that they are in. So a teacher also is acting out of love. He's not just simply acting out of because he's not hired by Arjuna to speak knowledge. He's not hired by, we have teachers who come and teach us Sanskrit. We have teachers who can come and teach us English, who can teach us German, French, or some mathematics class, science class. So those are also those could also be good teachers and sincere teachers, and they may also give their knowledge wholeheartedly. However, at times they can also be superficial. They may do the job for which they are paid for, and may not go beyond that. But this case is different. Here Krishna is giving instruction wholeheartedly. He's not holding anything back. Arjuna is his best friend. Arjuna is his best devotee. Arjuna has a relationship with Krishna. Krishna loves Arjuna, and Arjuna is also loving Krishna. And hence, this reciprocal conversation that has come out in the form of Bhagavad Gita is a conversation of love between two individuals. And the love is felt, is an emotion. It's felt in the heart, but it is expressed through actions. It's expressed through words. It's expressed through instructions, and it's expressed through things that you will do for your beloved. So it's not just superficial. It's just not the feeling in the heart, and but it has to be have an external expression. There's an internal feeling, and there should also be an external expression of love. One expression Krishna has demonstrated that how much he loves and care for Arjuna is when he agreed to become his charioteer. Now, on a battlefield, a charioteer is not a very glorified role. We may hire a driver, and a charioteer is slightly better than that conception of hiring a driver, but but he's nothing more than that. Like Sanjay used to be charioteer of Dhritarashtra. Sanjay was so Sanjay was not expected to give instructions to Dhritarashtra. He's expected to carry out orders of Dhritarashtra and take him wherever he wants. Similarly, a charioteer has little intimate role than just a driver of today's time, with a warrior on the sitting behind. As charioteer used to play a very key role in the war or in the battle. He used to dodge the arrows. He used to take things, maneuver the chariot in such a way that it causes less harm to the rider or to the yodha. but but beyond that, a charioteer had also running was used to also run a risk of his own life, because he would be in the battlefield in the middle of all battles, flying arms and ammunitions, and he can easily become victim. And then that's very common. So Krishna readily accepting a role of a charioteer, which is a subordinate role for Arjuna, itself is expression of his love for Arjuna, how much he care for Arjuna. So it's not such a big step, that supreme personality of Godhead, and we will see his opulence today a little bit more in detail. But such a person, such a big person, in such a mighty person, such a powerful person, such a great personality is ready to do such a simple small act for the pleasure of his devotee, for a pleasure of his friend, because he gave his word and he's happily doing it. He doesn't have to do it. But this itself is causing itself is a big expression of love that Krishna has for his devotee Arjuna. Krishna also spoke various verses which indicates which express through those verses Krishna expressed his love for Arjuna. Those verses came in form of instructions, and some of these are I have compiled for benefit of everyone. And please, I'll share the slides, with everyone. Please try and memorize all the verses so that they're all beautiful verses, and you can remember them whenever you are facing with the problem. So try and memorize them with their meanings. We will discuss those meanings briefly. We have seen most of these verses. So these verses primarily come from first 9 chapters, and we will briefly discuss them before we jump into the today's topic. So the first verse is where Krishna says that give ultimate objective for the living entities. So he set the goal. Why a living entity has taken birth? Because they want to end the cycle of birth and death. पुनर्जन्म का cycle break करने के लिए human form is given. However, वो कैसे होगा? By simply remembering, by simply knowing in a tattva, in its truth, the reason for appearance and activities performed by Lord Krishna. So again, there's a direct personal reference that Krishna is giving. Janma karma chame divyam. My janma and my karma are divya, are transcendental. बट जो कोई इसको तत्वतः समझ जाता है उसको पुनर्जन्म नहीं लेना पड़ता. Such a person does not take birth again. The janma and karma, he's explained it in the previous verse also, where he says, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati. This is the situation when he decides to descend into this material world. And what does he do? He do three things: paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkrutam, and dharma sansthapanarthaya. So परित्राणाय साधुनाम, साधुओं के संरक्षण करना है उनको. साधुओं का संरक्षण करने के लिए कृष्ण आते हैं. एंड साधु आर डिवोटीज. Prabhupada translated as devotees. The devotees, he comes to save his devotees, and he comes to destroy the evil. And he also comes to re-establish the principle of dharma. Now, dharma here means duty. Dharma has many meanings. One of the meaning is religious rituals that we all perform, that we are, or the name of the caste and community to which we belong to, Sanatan Dharma, Hindu Dharma, and so on and so forth. But also Dharma has also a meaning that what is the innate duty of that person, of that soul. So innate duty of a soul is to love and serve Krishna because he is part and parcel of Krishna. He is a separated part, ansha of Krishna, and hence his principal duty, the primary duty, is to love and serve Krishna and attain Krishna. Attainment of Krishna can happen. So for that, Krishna, in order to attract attention of these souls, Krishna comes on the planet and perform activities. He takes birth on this planet and perform various activities. And these activities are to vinashaya cha dushkritam and saving the devotees, save the devotees, destroy the evil, and re-establish principles of religion, principle of dharma, what is right, what is wrong, what should be done in which situation. This is dharmic principles, and Krishna demonstrate it by his personal example or through his instructions. So these activities are done as explained in 4.8, are captured by the sages, in form of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and they are made available to the next generations. So discussing them, people can know Krishna's love for his devotees. He comes on the material in the material world to demonstrate his leela pastimes. Remembering them, knowing them fully, people can cultivate remembrance of Krishna and eventually go back to Godhead. Punarjanma tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. So they will not then take birth again in this material world. Then Krishna says, for this to happen, you should hear, because these are captured. The Krishna has arrived on the planet multiple times, not only as a in two-arm form of Sri Krishna, but as Ram, as we discussed some of the pastimes yesterday, as Narsimha, Narsimha Chaturdashi will come after a few days as Vamana, then as many other incarnations. Through many other incarnations, he has appeared in the material world and performed various pastimes for the pleasure of his devotees. Now, having performed these pastimes and sages like Vyasadeva having captured these pastimes does not help a living entity who has taken birth and who is trying to enjoy using material senses the facilities that are made available by Krishna in this world. He is trying to control and enjoy the facilities. If a soul is busy doing this and the knowledge is available on one side, how the reconciliation between the two can happen, how the two can meet. So that meeting point comes when you start hearing these pastimes. So the pastimes are available captured in scriptures, and the souls are available who are taken human form, who has now capacity to hear and understand. Now the bridge has to be built, between the two, so that the transfer of knowledge can happen. So transfer of knowledge from scripture to souls, that can happen. That happens through primarily shrunu, tachrunu. So maya sakta manapartha, and shrunu will eventually help us develop attachment to Krishna. Attachment to Krishna, yogam yunjam madashraya, take shelter of Krishna. And yogam, yoga kar sakte hai, means perform devotional service, asaushayam, without any doubt, and with knowledge. Without knowledge nahi hoga. So if you see the upside down view of this verse, tachrunu, here, Gyasasi, you get knowledge, Samagramma, then you will develop affection for Krishna. Asaushayam, your doubts will be cleared. You will be able to take ashraya of Krishna. Yogam Yunjam, you will be able to perform devotional service wholeheartedly, serve Krishna wholeheartedly. And Maya Saktamana, with that you will be able to take shelter of Krishna. You will get attached to Krishna. Then once you get attached to Krishna, you will do nothing else but activities in Krishna consciousness. And then so this is the process that is given, the goal is given, the process is given. And what is the end result? What So if you are given a goal to graduate from a college, and process is given to, this is the syllable, this is how you will have to study, these are the classrooms, this is where you can clear the route, this is the library, this is all the facility is now given. So what does, but can that automatically qualify a student, or make him graduate, or make him engineer, or make him a doctor? No, you need to still appear for an examination. That examination comes for all human beings at the moment of death. So antakale cha mam eva smarana muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhava yanti nastyatra sanshayah. So that moment of death is our moment of examination. It's a surprise examination, as we discussed earlier, but the paper is fixed. So the good part is that the paper is known. The question that will be asked is known. The bad part is it's a surprise test. The timing is not known. But we still have, it's still a good position, because if both things are dynamic, then it would have become very difficult for us to figure out कि ये कैसे crack करेंगे exam. कि कभी भी हो सकती है और कुछ भी पूछा जा सकता है ना. दोनों वेरिएबल अगर डायनामिक है, आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल है, देन इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू फॉर अस टू इमेजिन हाउ कैन वी पास सच एग्जाम. बट वन वेरिएबल इज फिक्स. वन वेरिएबल फिक्स क्या है कि क्वेश्चन पेपर में क्या होगा वो फिक्स है. अंतकाले च मामेव स्मरण मुक्त्वा कलेवरम. So while at the moment of death, did you remember Krishna? This is the question that we will have to remember, answer. And uska timing kabhi bhi hai. Any moment it can happen. And we've seen with practically on the Ram Navami day, we had a devotee who got an electric shock, and he had left his body right in front of us. So it can happen any moment. It was a perfectly healthy devotee, a perfectly healthy person. Any accident death is a example of this, that the exam can happen any moment. But the question is same, that everyone has to answer. Did you remember Krishna at the moment of your death? Now one may feel it's very easy, but actually it's very difficult also. बिकॉज अगर ऊपर का ठीक से नहीं किया है तो नीचे क्वेश्चन पेपर भी डिफिकल्ट जाएगा, बिकॉज वी मे रिमेम्बर एवरीथिंग एल्स अदर देन कृष्णा ऑल्सो वी कैन. सो उसके लिए क्या करना है? सो कृष्णा गिव्स अनदर सॉल्यूशन, से तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु माम अनुस्मर युध्य च. दिस इज अगेन इंस्ट्रक्शन कमिंग आउट ऑफ लव, कि आप बोलेंगे मुझे ऑफिस जाना है, मुझे स्कूल जाना है, मुझे पढ़ाई करनी है, मुझे शॉपिंग करनी पड़ती है, मुझे सब्जी लानी पड़ती है, मार्केटिंग करना पड़ता है, इस्त्री करानी पड़ती है, स्कूल की फीस देनी है, मुझे कॉलेज की फीस देनी है, बच्चों को ये करना है, वो करना है, रिलेटिव्स का इतना काम होता है. सो ये सब मैं करते हुए ये सब मैं भक्ति कैसे करूं? इसमें मैं भक्ति का समय में कैसे निकाल सकता हूँ? सो कृष्णा सेज ये सब कीजिए, आपका धर्म है तो वो कीजिए. हाउएवर डू एवरीथिंग बाय रिमेम्बरिंग मी. ये सब मेरा स्मरण करते हुए कीजिए. नाउ देयर आर टू वेज ऑफ डूइंग इट. वी मे गेट एनग्रोस इनटू डूइंग थिंग्स that our dharma is, but we can also do it by remembrance of Krishna. We can take care of our family by remembering Krishna, also by knowing that they are part and parcel of Krishna. They are also children of Krishna. They are in our custody. My children are in my custody. They are children of Krishna, and they have been given in my custody. So I should do my best to give them Krishna, because so that it's up to them also to go back to Krishna. This is their mission also, mission of their life as well, as much as it is mission of my life. So that's where Krishna has given the process, given, and then giving a recommendation that you स्मरण अंतकाले च स्मरण करना है. अंतकाल में स्मरण करना है तो आपको सर्वेषु कालेषु स्मरण करना पड़ेगा. एंड परफॉर्म एक्टिविटीज. युद्ध करना है और अर्जुन को युद्ध करना है तो क्षत्रिय है, युद्ध करेंगे तो युद्ध कीजिए, बट माम अनुस्मर युद्ध च. एंड वो पैसे कैसे पॉसिबल होगा? तो मय्यार्पित मनोबुद्धि माम एवेश्यसि संशयः. सो अगेन गोइंग फॉरवर्ड, कृष्णा अगेन गिव अ ब्यूटीफुल इंस्ट्रक्शन कि ये सब आपको लगेगा बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, तो डिफिकल्ट नहीं है. कृष्णा सेइंग ये सुलभ पार्थ, ये सुलभ है, बिकॉज आप कुछ ना कुछ तो करोगे. जो आपको करना है, आपको मटेरियल ग्रॉस मटेरियलिस्टिक लाइफ भी जीनी है, तो वो बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, क्योंकि उसमें काफी रिएक्शंस है. यू विल ऑलवेज बी बाउंड बाय साइकिल ऑफ बर्थ एंड डेथ. यू विल नेवर कम आउट ऑफ इट. सो दैट्स वेरी हार्ड. Plus you will do a lot of sinful activities, so eventually your facilities will degrade. Eventually your facilities will degrade. The heat will increase, the life will become shorter, the viruses will increase, the fear will increase, the anxiety in life will increase in general. And we can witness all this even in today's time, that it's increasing. But facilities जितने बढ़ रही है उतने problems भी बढ़ रहे हैं. 50 years back, all these facilities didn't existed, but problems were also far lesser. Now, ये कैसे हो रहा है? Nobody knows. Krishna has told this, but Krishna is saying कि gross materialism भी बुरा है. Like एथिस्ट लोग का लाइफ भी बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, बहुत बुरा है. देवतास की वर्शिप करना भी fruitful नहीं है, because that's also that will also lead you nowhere. योग करना भी डिफिकल्ट है. आप ये सब करके सब बोलेंगे ये सब मैं छोड़ दूंगा, मैं हिमालय में जाके योगा करूंगा. आई विल सिट ऑन द टॉप ऑफ अ माउंटेन पीक. I will tolerate the snow. I will tolerate the wind. I will tolerate hunger. I will tolerate lusty desire. I will tolerate everything, and then I will try and concentrate my mind on the Supreme Personality, thinking of who He is in the Super Soul in my heart. ये कैसे होगा? ये तो अर्जुन के लिए डिफिकल्ट था. हमारे क्या कैसे होगा? हमारे लिए ये कैसे होगा? ये नहीं होगा. सो कृष्ण इज सेइंग भक्ति सुलभ है. भक्ति इज इजी पाथ. सबसे इजी पाथ है. आपको कुछ नहीं करना है, आपको आपकी ड्यूटीज करनी है, और आपको सिर्फ मुझे you just have to cultivate my remembrance while performing your duties. It's as simple as that. So don't think this is difficult. Bhakti nahi hai difficult. At least when you compare it with other path, other options that are available, bhakti is easy, sulabha. Then so भक्ति का इफेक्ट क्या है? भक्ति का इफेक्ट क्या है कि भक्ति once you perform bhakti, when you will surrender to Krishna, आपके लिए उसको कृष्णा को सरेंडर करना होगा. एवरी सोल विल हैव टू सरेंडर कृष्णा टू बिकम हिज डिवोटी. डिवोटी बनना इज नॉट इजी. विल डिस्कस अबाउट दैट अ बिट लेटर. बट कृष्णा को डिवोटी, वंस यू सरेंडर टू कृष्णा, then you will you will taste Krishna, you will taste the pleasure of bhakti. Pleasure that you will get out of Krishna will be sufficient for you to take a decision that you do not want to return to the दुखालय अशाश्वतम. ये पुनर्जन्म आप लेने की इच्छा ही नहीं करोगे. Having come here, having experienced the miseries that are available here, and then having tasted the pleasure of Krishna that you will enjoy when you are associating with Krishna, when you'll compare the two, it's a lose-lose deal to come back to this material world. So you will not feel like coming to Krishna because you have experienced both. Now for you, making choice is easy. So you will not come back again. So that's the instruction in 15th verse. Krishna again reiterate his point that आप सोचेंगे मैं स्वर्ग जाऊंगा या ब्रह्मा जी के लोक तक जाऊंगा. Then he says कि आप ब्रह्म भुवनार लोका पुनरावर्तिनो अर्जुना. ये सब कुछ सारा ब्रह्मांड जो 14 प्लानिटरी सिस्टम्स है वहां पुनरावर्ती होती है. मीन्स वहां रिपीटेड बर्थ एंड रिपीटेड डेथ होती है. सबकी ड्यूरेशन अलग अलग हो सकती है. जैसे कि बटरफ्लाई 14 दिन में अपना लाइफ जी लेते हैं. बर्थ होते हैं, बड़े होते हैं, चिल्ड्रन प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, दे डाई. सो अर्थली टाइम के हिसाब से विद इन 14 days a butterfly completes his life cycle of 100 years for human. But so the timing is different, the time scale is different. However, everybody has to die. Everybody has a repeated birth and repeated death in all the planetary systems within this Brahmanda. And so Krishna is saying कि nothing is attractive. आप सोचेंगे मैं कैलाश जाऊंगा, ब्रह्मा के लोग जाऊंगा, ये सब कुछ भी उसमें attractive नहीं है. Not enough, not worth trying, because there is a punaravarti. Punaravarti means there is a repeated birth, repeated death. But again he repeats his point that माम उपेत्य तो कौनते पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते. अगर तुम मुझे सरेंडर करोगे तो you will not take birth again. Then आप birth नहीं लेंगे तो करेंगे क्या? Where will you go? अव्यक्तो अक्षर. अव्यक्त जो अनमैनिफेस्टेड है एंड अक्षर है जो इम्पेरिशेबल है और जो कभी नाश नहीं होता. इवन आफ्टर एनाइलेशन आल्सो दैट डज नॉट गेट डिस्ट्रॉयड. वो है परमाम गतिम. और that is, if you get the paramam gatim, then you come to this kind of a धाम. वो धाम किसका है? यम प्राप्य न निवर्तन्ते तद धाम परमम मम. एक बार प्राप्त कर लेने के बाद आप फिर से इस धाम, इस लोक में वापस नहीं आना चाहेंगे. सच धाम इज परम, मीन्स वो सुपीरियर है, ट्रांसेंडेंटल है, और वो मेरा है. मेरा धाम है. That is my abode, which is transcendental. Once you go there, you will not feel like coming back into this material world. But उसके लिए आपको प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ेगी एंड डायरेक्ट एक्सपीरियंस लेना पड़ेगा. सो प्रत्यक्षावगमम धर्म्यम सुसुखम कर्तुम अव्ययम. जो भक्ति करनी है ना, भक्ति करनी है, ये डिसाइड तो हो गया. और हमें रिमेम्बरेंस कल्टीवेट करना है कृष्णा का, वो भी डिसाइड हो गया. और हमें सर्वेशु कालेषु हमें अपनी ड्यूटीज छोड़नी नहीं है, वो भी डिसाइड हो गया. सो व्हाइल परफॉर्मिंग ड्यूटीज वी हैव टू कल्टीवेट कृष्णा. सो ब्रिंग कृष्णा एट द सेंटर ऑफ आवर लाइफ, राइट फ्रॉम मॉर्निंग टिल इवनिंग. डू एवरीथिंग around Krishna, and then you will remember Krishna fairly throughout our life, and by which you will remember Krishna at the end of our life also. ये भक्ति करनी है, ये अभी पक्का हो गया. अभी भक्ति के लिए can we experience something कि so that I can perform this bhakti with सुसुखम, so मैं joyfully कर सकूं. कृष्णा says हाँ, वो भी एक कंडीशन है कि ऐसे नहीं कि गुस्सा करके भक्ति करनी है कि क्या रोज सुबह उठना पड़ता है, 16 माला करनी पड़ती है, कौन करेगा ये सब, पिक्चर के गाने नहीं सुन सकता, मुझे कीर्तन सुनने पड़ते हैं. सो पर अभी यही करना है क्योंकि मुझे साइकिल ऑफ बर्थ ऑफ डेथ भी तो खत्म करना है. तो ये गुस्सा होके नहीं करना है, रिसेंटमेंट से नहीं करना है. so ये सुसुखम करना है. सुसुखम करने के लिए वी नीड टू एक्सपीरियंस सम स्पिरिचुअल हैप्पीनेस कि with happiness comes more happiness. So अगर हमको material happiness थोड़ा मिला है कहीं पे, तो हम chase करते हैं उसको. It's like मृगजल. मृगजल means mirage, oasis. तो we chase water in desert. So chase करते हैं, फिर हम chase करते हैं, and that's how we progressively go deeper into the sand, deeper into the material ocean. So but ऐसा ही if you inverse it, it can happen with bhakti also. So अगर भक्ति में आपको सुख मिला, भक्ति में आपको spiritual happiness experience हुआ, प्रत्यक्षा अवगमम धर्म्यम, then you will want to chase that spiritual happiness more and more, and then that chase will become joyful, Krishna says, because then you will perform bhakti, the same bhakti process you will perform with far more in a far more joyful manner, bhajatam priti purvakam. So the direct experience, direct experience, getting some direct taste of spiritual happiness is very crucial for our progress, and Krishna happily provides us with that with his own mercy. It's not that we get it by our own endeavor, by our own effort. We get it by Krishna's mercy, we get it by devotees mercy. So when you attend, say, those who have attended live kirtan from Atul Krishna Prabhuji, you can or having visited Vrindavan and participated in kirtan of Dinabandhu Prabhu, or any other kirtan. When you participate, devotees, when they sing wholeheartedly for the pleasure of Krishna, and when you sing along with them, you sing in whatever voice that you have, but you sing loudly along with them and dance along with them in the kirtan, you will instantly experience spiritual happiness. There is no question about it, because it's not easy. It's not easy to do that, because it's not easy to sing somebody's glory. We all think we are glorious and our glory should be sung by the whole world. But when we are singing somebody's glories and we feel happy about it, it's a great feeling. And that spiritual happiness is a glimpse that comes from Krishna's mercy. So Krishna's mercy के कारण वो हमें spiritual happiness experience होता है, and that's how we progress in bhakti. Then we chase that happiness, and then we progress towards Krishna with greater speed. And what is the effect? As an effect, we will do satata kirtayanto mam. So what we chase, what we get experience, what we experience, we chase that. And the beauty of Krishna consciousness is such that nothing becomes stale. The happiness in kirtan never becomes stale. It's the same 16 syllables we chant as a Hare Krishna Mahamantra and we sing as a kirtan. Nothing more, nothing different, but different devotees, will sing this with their devotion, and Krishna will accept their singing. Krishna will become pleased by their singing, and then that's how the kirtan rasa flows around everyone, those who are participating, and we get mercy, we get the taste because of those devotees' purity in singing. And they, because their singing is accepted by Krishna, we experience joy from their singing. So it's an instant way to experience spiritual happiness. So you should remember that wherever there is kirtan happening, go sit there and sing loudly, sing as per as whatever in whatever the tune that the singer is offering his kirtan to Krishna, and he's offering and Krishna is accepting, and you will experience spiritual bliss in the process. So satata kirtayanto mam, once you experience that, you will want to do it all the time. Namasyantascha mam bhaktya, you are submissive to Krishna, you will pay obeisances to Krishna, nitya yukta upasate, and you will worship Krishna always. Ananyas chintayanto mam, ye jana paryupasate tesham nitya bhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Krishna says, I will carry what they, I will preserve what they have and provide what they lack. I will start taking care of such a devotees, those who are come to this platform. So the progression is there, and the progression is revealed from Bhagavad Gita, by Bhagavad Gita, and that progression is joyful journey. It's not very difficult, and we can all do it while staying in our current positions, in current ashrams and current city where we are. We don't by simply adding Krishna to our activities, by simply adding Krishna to our life, by making our life work around Krishna, all this can be easily experienced and possible in this lifetime, and very easily accessible. It's a low hanging fruit in modern corporate world, what we say. So we all should pluck it, grab it, and take it. You don't waste lifetime chasing other fruits. Krishna says that goes further. Now Krishna is in the ecstasy. Krishna, from this verse onwards till the end of this chapter, I've included all the verses, we have discussed them previous sessions also. So Krishna is giving one declaration after another, that now such devotees who are doing satat kirtayanto mam, they are always thinking of me, ananyas chintayanto mam. Now such devotees, how dear they are to Krishna. Krishna says they are extremely dear to me. I can do anything for such devotees. And you know so yeah, I was hearing one katha that elderly gopis, when Krishna was baby, they used to come to Krishna's home, and then they'll say, Krishna, Krishna, I'll give you makhan, sing me a song. You show me, you sing a song to me, and I will give you makhan. So Krishna used to bargain. He said, if you give me slightly more makhan, I will sing and I will dance also. You want me to just sing? What to speak of singing? I'll dance also, but give me slightly more makhan. And then they used to agree, and then Krishna used to do all that. Imagine Supreme Personality of Godhead is singing, want to sing and dance for you so that you can give some makhan, little in exchange of little makhan. Uh, I mean, you're making Krishna dance to your tune. That's what devotee can potentially do, and that shows how much Krishna love his devotee. Krishna's love for devotee is expressed through these verses. Krishna says, whatever you will offer. If you are poor, give me water, give me flower, give me leaf, and give me a fruit. Whatever you will give, I will accept it if you give me with love and devotion. I will accept it. Not that I'm hungry, not that I'm in need of anything, but I accept it because you are offering it with love. I am forced to accept it. I can't just say no to you. I can't say no to you is a big commitment that Krishna is giving to his devotees, that whatever you will say, I will do. It's as good as that saying. And then Krishna says, Tat kurushva madarpana, whatever you do it for me. Shubha Shubha Faleraivam Moksha se Karma Bandhane. I will free you from all your Karma Bandha. Karma Bandha is what you worry. Pap, Pichle Punya, accumulated sins, accumulated fruitive activities, and then their fruits. Is that what you are worried of? He said, I will free you up from all that. And he repeat this instruction in the 10th chapter also. Samoham sarvabhuteshu. I am equal to everyone, but I will favor my devotees. You become my devotee, I will give you special favor. Apichetu suduracharo. Even if my devotees do something wrong, I will never leave them. I will ensure that they come back to me in this lifetime or the next lifetime at the earliest possible. I will create so many opportunities for them to come back to me that they will eventually accept my proposal, and I will get them back. But I will never leave them. Nobody can do anything to upset Krishna so much that he will leave us. He will say, "Iska kuch nahi ho sakta." He will never give up his hope from us, and that's his nature. That is good. That is how good he is. That is how good he is. That no matter how bad we may become, he will never leave us. He will never leave all the jivas in general. However, he will never leave his devotees. Once you have become his devotees, he will never leave you alone. He will always be trying to get you back into the path of bhakti and eventually back to Krishna. He says, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Quickly they will become devotee again, because he will create so many opportunities for you to accept devotion. So many different ways. Every time a message will come, SMS will come, WhatsApp will come. Prabhuji japa ko आइए, प्रभुजी लेक्चर में आइए, प्रभुजी मंदिर आइए, प्रभुजी यात्रा में आइए, प्रभुजी ये फंक्शन है, प्रभुजी वो फंक्शन है, प्रभुजी फेस्टिवल है. The I will create so many opportunities for you to get connected back with me, and I will keep trying. Through my devotees, I will not personally come in your dreams and tell you. I can do that also, but I will try through my devotees to get you back on the track of bhakti. So you may want to go away from me, but I will never leave you alone. So this is how Krishna will try to reclaim his devotees back. That's 2.40 verse also claims that the bhakti is never lost. That that whatever progress that we have made, swa alpam iti asya dharmasya trayato mahate bharat. that is never lost. And that's how wherever you had stopped earlier, you start from the same point again. So this is the beauty of bhakti. And again, he's saying that it is available for everyone, no matter where you have taken birth. Because of your past karma, you might have taken birth as a brahmana, as a kshudra, as a kshatriya, or as a vaishya, or even the lower caste, lowest caste, that the dog eaters, among the community of dog eaters. Even if you might have taken birth, everyone has equal opportunity to associate with devotees and come back to me in one lifetime. Everyone. So no matter what is your, there's no qualification required. Patra apatra na dekhila. So there's no pre-qualification required that only brahmanas can come to Krishna. So beautiful story of a brahmana and a shoemaker. So the brahmana, when Narad Muni told brahmana that what was Lord Vishnu doing, Narad Muni said on instructions of Vishnu that Vishnu was threading an elephant through nose of a needle. He was threading an elephant through nose of a small needle. And Brahmana said, "You're joking. How can that be possible? You're probably don't want to tell what he was doing really, and that's why you are just making up something." And when the same statement was told to a shoemaker, a chambar, and he started dancing in ecstasy that how great my Lord is. Narad Muni says, "How do you believe? I've said this, and but did you not doubted it? How is it? How an elephant can pass through nose of a needle? Needles are so small, elephants are so big." So then that shoemaker replied to Narad Muni saying that uh, no, Narad Muni, it's not like that. Lord can make elephant smaller and he can make needle bigger. What's a big deal for him? He can, in such a small seed of banyan tree, he can pack a big tree like this, under which I'm sitting and doing my business. Such a big tree, and this was packed inside a small seed, just like this. So if he can pack a big tree like this inside this small tree, small seed, what's impossible for him? So this is his lila, this is his activities, and if he's doing it, it's so wonderful, my Lord is. So Narad Muni says, understood that this man, the shoemaker, will go back to Krishna at the end of this life, but the brahmana may take millions of lifetime before he can come to this platform. Now this is not just emotion, this is not just sentimental devotion, this is with knowledge, this is devotion with knowledge. So we'll talk about that a bit later as well. So 10th verse, so talking about today's topic, so we have Sri Bhagavana Uvacha, the first verse of, we'll see three verses from 10th chapter and long purports that Prabhupada has given. We'll try to look at some of those paragraphs. But this background was necessary because in the 10th chapter, Krishna starts speaking on his own. There's no question, there are no questions asked. So Krishna is just continuing with this theme of giving declarations in the loving way. So again, Krishna come back to the theme saying that bhuya eva mahabaho shunu me paramam vacha yatte ham priyamanaya vakshami hitakamyaya. That that bhuya eva mahabaho shunu me paramam vacha. Shunu, here may is mine. Paramam vacha are supreme instructions. My my whatever I'm saying, just hear whatever I'm telling you, my instructions, please hear. Ani, why am I saying you? Because you are priya manaya, you are my priya, you are my dear, you are so dear to me. That's why I'm giving you these supreme instructions. Vakshami hita kamyaya. Vakshami, I'm speaking this for a hita kamyaya, like well wisher. I'm hita is a good. Kamyaya, kamana is like wishing. It's because I'm your well wisher. I'm your well wisher. This is this is for your benefit, and hita kamya is for your personal benefit. I'm speaking because you are my dear. So these are all again out of love, out of loving ecstasy that Krishna is experiencing while speaking all the previous verses of 9th chapter, Krishna continued on the same theme and say that again, repeat this again, that you are such a dear to me. Therefore, I'm speaking. What am I speaking? Paramam vacha. What do they aim? What are they aiming at? They are aiming to give you supreme benefit. They are for your supreme benefit. That's why I'm speaking. So now Prabhupada in the purport talks about very important points. So starts with Bhagavan Uvacha. He explains the Bhagavan as he had done in the second chapter. Also, he explained the Parashar Muni, Vyasdev's father, and how he has defined Bhagavan as the possessor of all the six opulences, and also the one who is omniscient, who knows everything, omnipotent, can do anything, and omnipresent. He's present everywhere. So this is the definition of Bhagavan that Prabhupada provides at the beginning of the purport. And later, Prabhupada makes a very important point. Now Krishna is instructing Arjuna in more confidential knowledge of his opulence and his work. So now the 10th chapter begins with this note, and Prabhupada writes that what is going to give you a preview or cursory glance towards what's going to come after this. And what's going to come? The discussion about his opulence and discussion about his work. That's going to follow in the superior instructions, because Krishna wants Arjuna to love him. And so the previous chapter, whatever the declarations that Krishna has been giving, they demonstrate his sweetness. They demonstrate how loving Krishna is by his nature. How much love that he has for his devotees is what is being demonstrated. However, there is other side to Krishna. There is his opulence. Opulence means his greatness, and greatness invoke awe and reverence in the mind of his devotees. The sweetness will invoke love and affection for his devotees, and a balanced combination of both is required for anybody to practice bhakti in a steady, committed manner. Bhakti is not cheap. When we hear elderly gopis used to ask Krishna to sing and dance by just giving him makhan, it's not meant to be copied. That we carry a kilo makhan and go to temple and say, give it to some devotees and say, you are a devotee of Lord Krishna. Say, Krishna is to dance to the gopis. Can you sing and dance for me? I'll give you some makhan. It's not. It's not cheap. It's not to be copied in that manner. That mood is completely different. So one should be aware of Krishna's greatness also. And unless one is aware of Krishna's greatness, one will not be in a proper mood to render devotional service to him. One will never come to the proper mood, and then his effort will be failed if he doesn't do it proper way. So in order to guard everyone against that, Krishna will now provide a lot of information about his opulence. And so this chapter is known as opulence of the absolute. Absolute means the absolute truth, that is Krishna himself, that he has established. And what is his opulence, how great he is, how much great he is beyond our capacity to imagine also. So so that is, he's that great, and he can provide that information only by himself, because we'll come to know why only he can we can know about his greatness only from him. Why, we will come to know about that briefly. So previously, beginning with the 7th chapter, Krishna, Prabhupada is giving in more information about the Lord has already explained about his energies and how they are acting. So that was the chapter of knowledge of the absolute. The 7th chapter is knowledge of the absolute. 8th chapter is attainment of the absolute, and 9th chapter is the most confidential knowledge, and 10th chapter is opulence of the absolute. So we are going the most confidential knowledge. The 8th and 9th chapters contain maximum instructions, and the 7th and 10th chapter are will contain a lot of information about his opulence, and the 11th chapter will be the demonstration of his opulence through Virat Rupa, the Vishwarupa Darshan. So it's not, so these are now described. Later on they are demonstrated also. So anybody who claims to be God should do both, should tell how great he is, and should also show how great he is by going a Vishwadrup Darshan. Otherwise, he cannot be accepted as God. So, in the previous chapter, he has clearly explained his different energies to establish devotion in firm conviction. In what devotion in conviction, devotion in not just by sentiment. So this is very important point that we become devotee not because we are sentimental, not because we have nothing else to do, not because we feel that something will go wrong if we don't become devotee. We feel our wealth is taken away, will be taken away if we don't become devotees. If we feel that we will die if we don't become devotees. We are not becoming devotees only out of fear, but we are becoming devotees, trying to become devotees out of knowledge with firm conviction, establish devotion in firm conviction. Now, this is possible, this can happen only when you have taken the knowledge properly. And that knowledge should be accepted, taken from devotees. So devotion is a sentiment based on factual knowledge, not just feelings or emotions. So that's a very important point to note and to understand. And that's and also to this is the mood that we should always carry with us, that we are becoming. And at times people may challenge us when you become a devotee in the society, in our family, all our neighborhood or our relatives or our friends, and they all start asking a lot of questions that how come you have become devotee when we have not, we don't find it worthy. How come you have, what you have seen in it that is making it so much worthy that you are refusing our proposal to go for a party, or you're refusing our proposal to go for a movie? Instead you wish to hear from Bhagavad Gita, you wish to, you wish to visit temple, you wish to attend some kirtan melas, you wish to visit dhams. What is it that we are missing that you have got? And so they will all start asking questions, and at times we might not be equipped enough to answer all of their questions. Not that those can't be answered, but at our level we might not be equipped enough to answer all their questions. So in that case it can become very difficult, our bhakti can become shaky. So it's very important to understand or learn the principles of bhakti also. At the same time, if we have emotions, we experiencing sentiments in bhakti, these are good. But the devotion based on the conviction, based on knowledge is better, at least at the beginning, so that our bhakti remains unshaken, unshaken by the questioning of the world, unshaken by the doubts that the people will raise about the process that we are taking up, about the uh, about the path that we have chosen to follow. So the knowledge, cultivation of knowledge, personal knowledge at personal level is important. And for that to happen, the discussion with devotees is important, because in a classroom the discussion can happen in a one way manner mostly. However, through separate meetings, through separate calling, the same discussion can be taken forward. So we share the PPT for that purpose, that you carry this mood, carry this learning throughout the week. And if you wish to engage in discussions, if you have not understood any points, if you have not followed a particular theme, or there are certain conceptions that you continue to carry from your past learnings, past knowledge, and those seems to be in contradiction with what we are speaking, then those clarifications becomes very important. And you should on your own, rather than continuing with those differences, difference of thoughts, you should get those clarifications done and come to a common understanding, common platform. You should come to a level where your knowledge agrees with the knowledge given in the scriptures, and from then onwards that becomes foundation from the next step, from the next step. And that's how you build on this tower of your bhakti. But if you remain if you live with your doubts, if you choose to live with your doubts, your bhakti will remain shaky, because there will be misconceptions, that because all of us have not come to bhakti at the age of 5 like Prahlad Maharaj. So whatever our age might be, but we must get our doubts clear, our concepts clear. And it could be we may have our own conceptions, and those might have had come from previous learnings, previous birth, or our life experiences, our real life experiences. But whatever those are, if they are not in line with the scriptural teachings, then we must call devotees and talk to them and get those clarifications done. And because they will otherwise become impediments or hurdles in your progress in bhakti. So very important point, that we should all be talking also, not just listening passively, but talking about our bhakti, our conceptions, and we should reveal our heart to the devotees and take their guidance, seek their clarifications, and progress eventually. So bhakti is not sentiment based activity. Bhakti is knowledge based activity, and knowledge is available. uh, if our knowledge is in contradiction with the scriptural knowledge, we should get the clarifications for ourselves, and so that we can align with the scriptures and progress towards Krishna. Otherwise, either we will get stuck or we will go away from Krishna. Both way, it will be harmful. The more one hear about the supreme God, the more one become fixed in devotional service. One should always hear about the Lord in the association of devotees. That will enhance one's devotional service. Discourses in the society of devotees can take place only among those who are really anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. Now, this is a very important point. Let's pay attention that discourses in the society, that currently what we are doing is also a discourse in a society. Society of devotees can take place only amongst those who are really anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. Now, anxiety is not a very, in English at least, it's not used in very positive sense. That I'm anxious doesn't really, we don't feel very happy when we say that I'm anxious about my, say, results. Could be anything, or so any anxiety, any kind of anxiety is not not taken in a very positive way, that I'm anxious, my child has not returned home, so that's giving me anxiety. That's not a very happy feeling. But Prabhupada is using it in context, in such a way that it's used in a very positive way, that who are the devotees who are anxious to be in Krishna consciousness, really anxious, not only just anxious, really they are anxious. They're not just showing to be anxious, they are seriously anxious, they are sincerely anxious. From within their heart, they are anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. They want to become Krishna consciousness. Only those discourses among such devotees, ये ऐसे devotees होते कहाँ हैं? Can we find such devotees? We can find such devotees. We can ourselves become such devotees. And others, all of you are such devotees. That's why we are part of this discussion. Others cannot take part in such discourses. The Lord clearly tells Arjuna that because Arjuna is very dear, non-envious of him, for his benefit, such discourses are taking place. Let's take a moment to discuss something. Now, Krishna has said that the discourse should happen between devotees and should not be discussed between non-devotees. Krishna Katha should not be discussed with non-devotees. Let's take a moment to understand what are the advantages. Why is Krishna saying that it should be discussed with devotees only? And what are the harms? What are the disadvantages of discussing it with non-devotees? What are the characteristics of devotees that makes discussion amongst them special, beneficial? And what are the characteristics of non-devotees that makes the discussion of Krishna Katha amongst them harmful for devotion? So we can go to the chat box if you wish to type, but feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself and contribute. It will be great if all of you can contribute. We have a lot of participation today.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. So is the question clear to all? So firstly, we are asking that Krishna Katha should be done, discussed amongst devotees. So I'm asking, what is so special about devotees that makes it special? Discussion of Krishna Katha amongst devotees special. And what are the contrast to that? What is the problem of discussing Krishna Katha with non-devotees? Why it is harmful? Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. When we discuss the Krishna Katha with devotees, Prabhuji, because since devotees are already in the loving devotional service of Krishna, So they enhance actually our knowledge. Means there may be some points that where I am lacking and where I am unable to relish that particular point to the its fullest extent. I remember that once His Grace Narottam Priya Prabhuji in context to 2.13, he explained it in such a vast and varied degree that I came to understand it that this is actually the essence of this, like where he says that matra sparshastu kontaya. So when we discuss it with devotees, the relishment and the blissfulness comes. It's the real essence. We can get to understand the real essence of it. So there is always a upgradation or a progress in learning with the devotees. Whereas if we go to discuss it with non-devotees, they give so many references that it is written here, like in Devi Katha, it is written that Krishna is making the praises of Devi, and it is written in the Shiv Katha that he is doing that, this and that. Means they come with so many logics that without understanding the essence of the Vedas, where that means which Krishna even tells in Bhagavad Gita that from all Vedas I am to be known. But with the non-devotees, the problem is that they are not ready to accept that particular point, and they keep giving the references. You are on mute, Prabhuji.
My bad. So discussion with non-devotees can be confusing and the essence can be lost. Whereas
Yeah,
discussion with devotees, you're saying, will
yeah,
be
it is,
useful. The
will be useful,
essence.
and yeah, Prabhuji, and it will give actually the blissfulness, like uh, uh, the Krishna Katha when heard by the devotees, it is very nectarian. Like as Narottam Priya Prabhuji were yesterday telling that there never used to be the questions on the pastimes, because it is so relish that we are lost in that, and we just enjoy listening to it. So it is for me actually that is the advantage, in my opinion. That is the advantage that we listen it to the fullest extent, and we
Okay.
relish the nectar. Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare
So
Krishna.
useful, blissful, relishable. Yeah. Puru Prabhu, you want to unmute and speak? You have mentioned some comment, but happy to hear from you.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, yeah, if we discuss means our consideration and our concern with the devotees, that increases our faith in the Krishna and his pastimes. And if the same thing we discuss our non-devotees, so our discussion becomes doubtful and full of anger and means whatever the conclusion we got, that is all about personal experience and with negativity.
Okay. So negativity can creep in and faith increases if you discuss it with devotee. What is it in devotees that cause the increase of faith?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, can I speak?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Prabhuji, see, it is very important that whatever has been mentioned in Bhagavad Gita should be interpreted in the correct sense. It should be interpreted very correctly. So that is most important. That is most important part of Bhagavad Gita. So devotees who have a perfect knowledge of Krishna Katha, if we discuss with them the message, the information will be passed on to the other devotees very correctly, and they too in turn will become pure devotees.
Okay, so it's a
So
proper knowledge. Devotees have
yeah,
proper knowledge, proper interpretation is available with
what proper
devotees,
interpretation? If there
whereas
are not,
non-devotees may not have proper correct interpretations.
it can lead to misinterpretation and wrong
Misinterpretation.
misinterpretation if not, if we Krishna Katha is preached by non-devotees.
So it's about knowledge of language, more to do with the knowledge of language, because it's a interpretation, right? So it's a like translation. So if I know a particular knowledge language better, I will be able to be act as a better translator.
So devotees
So
have
is that
more understanding about Bhagavad Gita. So they can what
oh,
they can
so not just
more
language,
understand.
the context also is known
Understanding,
to
yes,
the understanding is known. Okay.
understanding is useful.
Understood. Understood. So take a note of that. Rajesh Dixit Prabhu, you want to say something? Yes, non-devotees go into argument mode. We have 3 raised hands. Chandramohan Prabhuji, yeah, please. We'll start with you, then Mukesh Prabhu, and then Umesh.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I believe like we may attempt to be a devotee, but it is Krishna's grace which allows us to be in Krishna consciousness or not. So everybody who is part of the Krishna consciousness is an order of Krishna. So they are all abiding by the order of Krishna. So it will be in the sense we discuss about the right message of Krishna and we cultivate that. So anybody who is not a Krishna devotee, it is not that I am doing anything or you are doing anything. He is probably not prepared yet to take up Krishna consciousness. So it is not my responsibility beyond a point to focus and argue with anybody, because that will be a sheer wastage of time. Here, while I should be good and nice to everybody, the sole purpose is that I should get out of this life and death circle and get into Goloka or Vaikunta. So when I'm with devotees, I'm enhancing that possibility of going there. When I'm with non-devotees, I'm churning the negativity more and more. So if you churn negativity more and more, it is not like simple mathematics, minus into minus equals to plus. It may not come that way. We will in fact be generating more of negativity, which will be not be good for that devotee, nor it will be good for me. Because Krishna will not like anybody talking against him for a prolonged period of time.
So, Prabhuji, you mentioned about order of Krishna. Can you elaborate on that?
Prabhuji, say in this lifetime of mine, there are a lot of times I miss out on Krishna Bhakti. But whether it is Mahapati Prabhu or whether it is Kapila Prabhu or anybody, some messenger of Krishna comes and tells me, no, no, you come to this, you do this. So I believe it is not Mahapati Prabhu who is telling me or Kapila Kashyap Prabhu who is telling me. It is Krishna who is telling me, come on, buddy, you were my devotee at some point of time. I am telling you, please come, come, come. So
don't mess up now again.
So it is he who is actually calling and putting us. You might be calling 1,000 people for every Krishna occasion, but there will be 100 or 200 or 150 who is coming.
Perfect.
So,
so facility arranged by Krishna.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Understood. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Roji. A nice contribution. Mukesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu ji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandat pranam.
प्रभु जी, ऐसे तो सभी ने बहुत कुछ कहा है, जो मुझे भी कुछ कहना था तो ऑलरेडी कवर हो चुका है, लेकिन फिर भी मैं एक दो पॉइंट्स मुझे जैसा लगता है जो समझ मुझे प्राप्त हुई है कि शुद्ध भक्त के साथ में अगर हम कृष्ण लीला की और कृष्ण क्या अगर हम ये करते हैं, उनके विषय में बात करते हैं, तो सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि हमें शुद्ध भक्त हमें शुद्ध भक्ति दे सकते हैं। डिवोटीज भगवान के बारे में हो सकता है हमारा कुछ कंफ्यूजन हो उनके बारे में, जैसे कि भगवान 4.9 में कहते हैं कि जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम, तो उनको तत्व से जानना जो है उस शुद्ध भक्त से ही हम जान सकते हैं, वे हमें एलोबरेट करके बता सकते हैं, डिस्कशन से निकल सकते हैं वो चीज, तो हम कृष्ण की और करीब हम जा सकते हैं डिवोटी के संग में आके। और जहां तक नॉन डिवोटी की बात है तो भगवान स्वयं कहते हैं 18वें अध्याय में कि अभक्तों को जो है मेरा ये संदेश नहीं देना है, क्योंकि भगवान कहते हैं जो मेरे से ईर्ष्या करते हैं वो मुझ तक पहुंच ही नहीं पाते। तो एक तरह से अगर हम उनसे नॉन डिवोटी से अगर ये भी करते तो हम उनके लिए सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम वाली बात ही है कि वे कृष्ण से और दूर होंगे, क्योंकि हम जितनी कृष्ण की चर्चा करेंगे उनसे वो इतना रेफरेंस देंगे अलग से कृष्ण से दूर होने का, तो जो कुछ चांस भी होगा कि वो कृष्ण के करीब जाएं तो वो उनके लिए ज्यादा हार्मफुल होगा नॉन डिवोटीज के लिए, तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है। तो इसलिए शायद भगवान ने भी 18वें अध्याय के अंतिम जगह पे जो है अंतिम समय में ये कहा है कि नॉन डिवोटीज के साथ में जो है अभक्तों के साथ में ये चर्चा नहीं की जानी चाहिए। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट यू मेड कि प्योर डिवोटीज हैव प्योर डिवोशन, दे कैन गिव प्योर डिवोशन। अब जो हमारे पास है वो हम दे सकते हैं। मेरे पास 100 रुपए है तो मैं कुछ दे सकता हूँ उसमें से, मेरे पास कुछ है ही नहीं, हाउ कैन आई गिव? Nice point.
Yes, non-devotees discussing Krishna Katha with non-devotees may lead to bewilderment and confusion.
Correct.
So
okay. Yeah, I'll just go to Umesh Prabhu and then Sudip Prabhu, and then we will see if I'll also request Mayur Fogla Prabhu to be ready. He is, I think, given some comment, so he can also contribute. Umesh Prabhu, you can unmute. Hare Krishna.
अच्छा, ये जो हम बात कर रहे हैं नॉन डिवोटीज के साथ कृष्ण लीला के बारे में चर्चा करना, तो ये अपराध में भी आता है, 10 महाप्रभुता में से एक है। तो यहाँ पे होता है क्या, वो तो अपराध कर ही रहे होते हैं और जब हम लोग उनकी बातें सुनते हैं तो हमसे भी वो अपराध होता है। और दूसरी बात ये है कि पहले हमारे पास समय बहुत कम है और इसी जगह पे हम लोग अगर डिस्कशन करते रहते तो हमारा भी समय चला जाता है। तो पहले जो दो डिवोटीज ने जो शेयर किया था उससे मैं बहुत सहमत हूँ।
Hare Krishna. Nice point made. अपराध भी है and waste of time भी होगा. We have
Hare
limited
Krishna.
time.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Vinod Prabhu, I'll come to you. Sudeep Prabhu has raised hand. After that, you can speak.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yes, Sudeep
Hare,
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, what I think here is that, yes, talking to devotees, one can really enrich his idea and his knowledge about Krishna and Krishna's pastimes. The more a devotee listens to Krishna's pastimes, the more he gets enlightened and the more he becomes faithful to Krishna. Now, for a non-devotee, actually, ignorance plays a big part because he is not in proper knowledge about the subject, and he did not get a chance, or maybe he is not taking his endeavor to get in touch with devotees, bona fide devotees, and getting the right Bhagavad Gita as it is, as you say, the right interpretation. So what happens is that if he has listened it in a very fragmented manner from someone, that confuses him. He does not get all the answers to his questions, and then he leaves it. So, and then the negativity starts. So that is something which I think, what is the difference between the devotee's approach to faithfulness and a non-devotee's approach.
Okay, thank you so much. So brought in the point of enlightenment and ignorance. So devotees are enlightened, non-devotees are ignorance. They'll take you deeper in the ignorance. Vinod Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
In my opinion, as a devotee, we are also at very lower level of devotional service, but still at whatever place we are, and we at least we try to talk to the people around, try to help them understand the Krishna consciousness, and without any expectation, निर्विकार भाव से कि अगर वो सुनते हैं तो भी अच्छा है और नहीं भी सुनते हैं तो भी अच्छा है. अगर कृष्णा की मर्जी होगी तो जरूर उनके मन में कुछ आएगा और जरूर इस बात पर आगे आएंगे. दूसरी चीज है कि हमें अपने व्यवहार से, अपने विचार से, अपने कर्मों से, जहां भी हम हैं, अगर उसको दूसरा कोई देख करके बिना कुछ कहे ही प्रभावित होता है, तो भी एक तरीका है हमें नॉन डिवोटी को डिवोटी फॉर्म में लाने का. और वो आसान तरीका है जिससे आप किसी को न कहते हुए अपने आचरण, अपने कर्म, अपने खुशी, अपने ऑफिस एनवायरनमेंट में खुश रह करके, बैड सिचुएशन में भी स्टेबल रह करके आप जो संदेश देते हैं अगल बगल के लोगों को, साथियों को, वो जो है वो बहुत सहज भाव से ग्रहित होता है. और हमें जरूर एक कोशिश करनी चाहिए. बाकी उसके बाद क्या होता है, नहीं होता है, कोई उसका आर्गुमेंट करता तो बिना अतार्किक आर्गुमेंट या डीप आर्गुमेंट में ना जाते हुए सॉफ्ट भाव से हमें ये चीज जरूर करते रहना चाहिए. बाकी कृष्णा की जिसके ऊपर मर्जी होगी वो जरूर इस रास्ते में आएगा.
Sure, Prabhuji. So 2 points: demonstration of action, demonstration through our own action. कि हमारे आचरण से we can demonstrate that how we are benefiting out of Krishna bhakti. Seeing that the bewildered people, those who become unhappy and happy all the time, or remain agitated largely in their life, they can pick a point कि ये आप कैसे manage करते हो, मतलब how do you manage to be so stable. That's one point. Second is you depend on mercy of Krishna when you tell people. Vikas, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, as you mentioned during the session itself, that when we used to be in the association of pure devotees, the aura and the spiritual bliss, it becomes that wonderful that the Krishna Katha that enters the heart, and that is actually the mercy of the devotees. Whereas with the non-devotees, it is a plain argument where they just try to establish whether Krishna is the Lord or not. The basic question used to be that. So the essence will never come from those side actually, which if we go and if we consider.
So because non-devotees also like to discuss Krishna Katha. They all are interested in knowing what Radha Krishna did, why they did, how they did, where they did. So the curiosity is there, but knowledge is not there, and therefore that does not lead them anywhere. In fact, it takes them away from Krishna. I'll go to chat box. We have couple of comments, many comments, in fact, very nicely contributed topic today. Mayur Fogla Prabhuji, I would like to hear from you, and Mataji's, Sri Kumari Nair Mataji, Monal Mataji, feel free to discuss, feel free to unmute and discuss if you're comfortable, or else I'll read out your comments as you wish. But Mayur, are you there?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. I pulled you out of your
Yeah.
you're still in Ranchi?
Yeah, I'm still in my
Okay.
hometown.
All right.
Sure.
Yes, Prabhuji, you written something nice, so I thought I'll request you to explain this also.
So basically, the thing is that with devotee, the person is like that. He can correlate the experiences, and without experiencing and that being a like-minded, it's very difficult to gauge out the bhakti or love for the Krishna. We are just talking something on realistic terms, where with a non-devotee is like a shallow, where you don't have a base. You are just talking for the sake of talking or putting their point to be corrected, though they don't have a real experience to it. That's the one of the aspect for that. And one thing which was rightly said over here, with devotees, there is a vibe which you share. It's not that you need to read or always be indulged in the chanting or something. Even the vibe which you share with the devotees, that itself is a transformation and transcendental to the Krishna potency. That's the one of the biggest thing where you just always like to be with devotee, because you get the aura. So that's why it's always said that sadhu sangha.
Okay. So important point Prabhuji made is that one is talking out of personal experience, and one is just discussing some abstract concept without having any any personal experience, and that makes a lot of difference, because I have to teach how to give up smoking, while after the class, after giving that session, I'm going to go and smoke. It's not going to have any impact, because I've personally never given up smoking, never have given up smoking myself. So I can't teach how to give up smoking to others. So that's a very important point. We'll take last couple of comments. Anybody from Mataji side wish to contribute? Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
There was a very beautiful Tulsi Sakhi. As a child, I used to always learn these Tulsi Sakhis, Tulsi Das, who's written Ramayana, is Ek Ghadi Adi Mein Punyat, Tulsi Sangat Sant Ki Kate Koti Aprad. So I think, association with people who are pure devotees is also working towards your own karma, your own deeds which you do knowingly, unknowingly. This is a very beautiful thing which came on my mind.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. That was beautiful. Yes, indeed. Shri Kumari Nair Mataji or Madhuri Mataji, I think you see your comments. If you wish to speak, you can unmute, or we'll go back to the session. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, it is like non-devotees, as I told, and all the devotees have shared the comments. They don't have any, they don't understand what is Krishna and all. When we talk also about Krishna, they feel they don't take it very seriously. It is like it is no use sharing these spiritual activities with the non-devotees. And as taking myself as an example, I was also devotee and I am also devotee. But coming into the this association with the devotees, I could learn probably so many things from you, which I was not aware of. Even though I was a devotee of Krishna, but I was not knowing so much about very deeply. Just now, after coming into the Krishna consciousness only, I could understand. So this should be even non-devotees also should have little this thing to understand the things, so that they can also come to the path of devotion, towards devotion. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for contributing. We'll go back to our slides. So Madhuri Mata, you want to say something? Last comment, maybe we can then jump into the slides.
Prabhuji, this is Monal here.
Hare Krishna.
Monal Mata, yeah.
Sure.
Yes, Mata.
I'll
Yes.
say that.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes.
I will sum it up in this saying this, that coming in association with devotees, we get lot of unconditional love and support, which inspire us and which motivates us to get into Krishna Bhakti more and more.
Okay. Yeah. Association will help us come closer to Krishna. Monal Mataji, you have some last comment?
Yes. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Very simple. Everybody has given a very detailed, description and information, explanation about it. Just in very common terms, I would say that once we are with more devotees, more and more, you can see the belief and the love and the affection with Krishna increases tremendously. With all the sessions that we do, we attend your sessions, and even Saturday, all the other sessions are there, plus the Bhagavad Gita reading, all of those. So any of these activities, basically whatever you do when you're in association with devotees, automatically it increases. So it's like commonly anything that you are in a company, whatever type of company you are, those aspects multiply. So if you are in company of devotees, then definitely the bhakti is going to get multiplied. And similarly, if you are with non-devotees, then there are chances of definitely getting in negativity from them. And maybe if they are too strong at that point of time than you, then probably you may move away from the path. So
Very true. Yeah, very nicely. No, very true, very true. Nicely summed up.
Yeah, thank you. Just my personal experience that I have experienced since last, I think 8 or 10 months or 1 year since I have been associated to any of these sessions, is where automatically I've started cutting down those type of people. That I wouldn't want those type of people, because I've realized that it's better not to have those people rather than be with a crowd of people which is more blissful. So thank you.
That's a nice realization shared, and this stage comes when either you will have to reduce their association, or they themselves will remove you from their close circle, because the activities that interest will become conflicting or become non-compatible. They remain non-compatible with each other, and then that eventually those crossroads comes when you choose path, and you yes, and then that's nice to hear, and that's where the devotee association also comes in, becomes very handy, because when you lose out on those people, you can't, and if there is a vacuum that get created, because if you're not associated with devotees enough, then that vacuum there can be experienced, then that can push us back to the old ways of things also. So hence, while those old people will automatically start leaving us, those who are true to us will stay irrespective of what we do, whom we worship. For them it will not matter much, but those superficial connections on Facebook and on whatever social media, they may start reducing, and for that, you can simultaneously increase the devotee sangha. Then you will have devotee community that will get added to your family, and the sum may remain same, the net sum may remain the same, and that's one way of adjusting this. If you are not able to deal with that vacuum or the loneliness, if that may not fully lead to loneliness, but it may lead to some feeling that people are not people are started ignoring you, because now you're chanting 16 rounds, or you're attending classes which they don't want to do, so you're not available for them during those times. So and that can also create some kind of a negative sentiment, so that can be replaced by having a devotee association. So that's where we request everyone to come to temple, meet with people, and devotee community is we have all kind of people from all walks of life, and so then you will find some commonality, and then you can have devotee friends. So that's so overall I think everyone has given wonderful contributions, and probably not had such long class discussion in our sessions, but I thought it probably will be helpful. Today's topic was so nice, so relevant. So we'll not go to the other two verses, we'll do those on next Sunday, but this is what I had put up, I could put together. and hopefully this will cover most of the points raised expressed by all of you, and probably something more also that might have had missed out. So let's go through. I've noted down all your points, so I'll just take a look later if I have missed out anything. But in general, when we say hearing from devotees, tat shrunu, and tat shrunu, if it has to have any benefit, what is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee? So a devotee is a one who is in love with Krishna. A devotee, Yajna Shishta Sina Santo, in that verse of 13th verse of third chapter, Prabhupada gives definition of a Santa. Santa is a person who is in love with Krishna. Santa is a person who is in love with Krishna. Why he is offering food to Krishna? Because he is in love with Krishna. Without Krishna, he does not wish to eat anything. Yadna Shishta Sina Santo Muchante Sarva Kilbishay. Now, as a side effect, he is freed from all reactions, all papa that is associated with the food. So a Santa or a devotee is in love with Krishna, whereas a non-devotee is envious of Krishna, either directly or indirectly. Now, envy of Krishna, why we will envy? Because Krishna possesses all six opulences which people are also pursuing. Krishna is ultimate enjoyer, and here all of us are trying to be enjoyer in our own small way. Krishna is ultimate controller. Krishna owns everything. Now we also have a desire to own and control things. We want to own land, we want to own property, we want to own businesses, and we want to control people around us. We may not be able to control our mind, but we wish to control the whole country, if possible, or a small company, or my family, or my friends. I want to have my influence. I want my things to happen in my way. So these are propensities, these are qualities of Krishna, and these are practiced by non-devotees when they want to become Krishna in their own small way. They want to possess opulence, they want to enjoy, they become the enjoyer, they want to become the supreme enjoyer within their capacity. So they are non-devotees are envious of Krishna because Krishna has everything. Now if they are not, if they don't have knowledge about Bhagavad Gita, they may indirectly compete with Krishna, but that's also done out of envy only. So whereas on the devotee side, we have devotees have taste for hearing Krishna Katha, Krishna's glories and Krishna's qualities, his pastimes. Anybody, I would like to hear my pastimes told. I would like to hear my glories being narrated. I would like to hear my qualities are being described by the people from the stage. Now, this is a natural tendency that people have. But if I start enjoying narration of somebody else's pastime, somebody else's qualities, somebody else's glories, then and if I don't have a loving sentiment towards that person, then it will invoke envy in me, more and more envy in me. So devotees, since they are in love with Krishna, they are able to relish hearing about Krishna. And hearing about Krishna, what we will hear? We will hear his glories, his qualities, and his pastimes. So if you are in love with a person, so a mother, no matter how old her son become, or child becomes, or daughter becomes, she will always be ready to talk for hours about how they were born, how they took their first step, when they start standing on their own feet, when they took their first step, what happened, where they had gone. All children get lost sometime. What happened when? And so these are pastimes. Now, a child is so dear to her mother that no matter how big the child has now become, she will relish talking about these pastimes. No matter how and no matter how many times that must have had repeated, and that typically happens over dinner discussions in family dinner. I hope all families eat together, and typically the discussion come up that याद है इतने साल पहले यहाँ गए थे, ये हुआ था, वो हुआ था, and again all those flood of memory come again. And if your parents are there, they again go back in time, and they again relish the whole whole event as if it had happened just yesterday. And they can narrate it number of times. I mean, they just unlimited times a mother can narrate how her child took first step, and when she or he or she spoke first word, or went to school and stood on stage and narrated whatever the poem that she had helped her memorize. So these are so there is no limit. A mother can relish this every time it is discussed. However, a non-devotee, because they have envy towards Krishna, more they hear about Krishna, their envy increases. So more one hear that Krishna owned and controlled the world, and if I have that tendency to own and control more over whatever the circle of influence that I have, I will not like it. I will see Krishna as my competitor. And then he said, how can he be so powerful? How can he be so much in control when I am not even able to control my 5 people in my family? How could he control the whole universe and more universes? And so a non-devotee, more he hear about Krishna, because his conception of Krishna, his disposition towards Krishna is not right. It gives negative effect. More he hears, more the envy increases. More the envy increases in his mind, and more the negativity increases, more he hears. A devotee attract Krishna's mercy by their devotion and surrender. So devotee becomes devotee, and this was also brought out by a couple of you while discussing that a devotee doesn't become devotee by his own endeavor. A devotee becomes devotee by his own endeavor plus Krishna's mercy. Now that's a very important point. Because devotee has devotion, he can give devotion to us. And how did he receive devotion? He did receive devotions by his effort and by the mercy of his guru and Krishna, all the 3 components. So this is again a very critical point. We remember we always quote this verse, Dadami buddhi yogam tvam yena mam upayanti te, from 10th chapter, 10th verse. We'll soon see that verse in the probably couple of sessions from now. What is Krishna saying here is that you can come up to a certain point by your own endeavor. Even if you pick up a copy of Bhagavad Gita, start reading it on your own, you will not understand it fully. Why? Because not that you are less intelligent, because your intelligence can take you only up to a certain point. Beyond that, if you wish to travel, you need intelligence coming from Krishna, and that is available only with the devotees, because devotees have received that mercy. Non-devotees have not received that mercy. So devotees don't have any other desire except for making Krishna happy. Now, non-devotees have unlimited desires of their own enjoyments, their own controllership, and various things that they wish to do in the world other than for Krishna. Now, devotees only wish to act for making Krishna happy. So, devotee association that way becomes very, very useful because they have received mercy of Krishna. They act to please Krishna, and by associating with such devotees, we can get an opportunity to please Krishna, to make Krishna happy. So if we hear, and when we hear in association of such devotees who enjoy hearing Krishna Katha, or who enjoy talking about Krishna, speaking about Krishna, then we can develop similar desires to hear about Krishna and to talk about Krishna. Because by association, desires are transferred. By association, desires are transferred. So if you wish to learn shlokas, you should associate with that devotee who is expert in chanting shlokas. So if you wish to narrate pastimes of Lord, you wish to develop a reading habit, then you should associate with somebody who has liking to read non-stop. You can read for hours. Then by associating with them, that desire, because they are doing it, they are actually reading Bhagavatam for hours, or 2 hours, 3 hours without a break, then that means they get some relishment out of it. If they get that relishment out of it, and you wish to enjoy the similar relishment, similar enjoyment, then you must associate with such a devotee and talk to him, get from him the secret of how he is able to read for 4 hours together at a throat, and how he's able to do that, and what nectar he gets. And you get a, by associating with him, you get the similar desire, you develop a similar desire, and then you will eventually be able to do what he's doing, and you will have a similar enjoyment. Whereas if we here in association of non-devotees, then our taste will be destroyed due to the doubts and other doubts expressed by them, and the faithless discourses that may take place. So very interesting discussion we had. um, we'll complete discussion on this particular verse, and then we will end today's session. We'll see a couple of rest of the verses in next session. So Prabhupada, so we talk about the envy, the point about envy, that the envy comes in Bhagavad Gita a few times. Mute. Yeah, the envy comes in Bhagavad Gita on the number of occasions. Now, in the 4th chapter, Krishna says that because you are non-envious of me, because you are my devotee, bhakto semi sakha cheti, bhakta and sakha. Bhakta and sakha, so both are opposite of in person who is envious. Bhakta cannot be envious of Krishna. A sakha cannot be envious of Krishna. But so it's indirectly Krishna is saying you are non-envious of me. You are, because you love me. So love is opposite of envy. So then 7th chapter 27th verse, Krishna again repeats that ichha dvesha samuthena dvano mohena bharata, because of desires to enjoy and control, and dvesha because dvesha because I am the enjoyer and I am the controller. So if you wish to become my competitor, you can't be in love with me and then compete with me at the same time. So you have to have the envy. You become envious of me. Because of this envy and because of those desires, you are you are born into this material world, and that's how your journey to the material world begins. Desire and hate. Again, 9th chapter, first verse, Krishna says that pravaksham anusuyave. Anusuyave is non-envious of me. Because you are non-envious of me, I am speaking this Rajavidya Rajaguhyam, such secret knowledge I'm speaking because you are non-envious of me. Again, very important point Krishna makes, that it's very important for us to be non-envious of Krishna, and we must be aware that our envy may pop up without our notice. We may become a competitor of Krishna, and thereby we may indirectly become envious of Krishna. So we should be very watchful in our desires, watchful in our actions, as to what are we really trying to do. So that's where one is when one is submissive, one is not submissive, one is not surrendered to Krishna. He's a competitor to Krishna for competition in terms of controller and enjoyment, controllership and enjoyment. And a competitor with Krishna cannot become his devotee of Krishna, and hence more he hear about his glories, more hatred or envy he develop, and his recovery, his path to his path or his return to Krishna becomes more difficult, because he creates misfortune, more spiritual misfortune for himself, and he may even offend Krishna. Then that's again bigger spiritual misfortune that he may create for himself, and that will create bigger and bigger hurdles between him and Krishna, and he may take very long time for realizing his mistake and taking the path of bhakti towards back to Krishna. We'll end today's session. I think since we had long discussion, we probably but I think it was great to hear from so many people, so many devotees, so many different views, and I hope all of you, thanks for wholehearted contribution. And so we will see a couple of other verses later, maybe in the next session, and then we'll continue our discussion on this theme. But thank you very much all for your wholehearted participation. And we will take any questions that anyone may have, or we can close today's session. Chandramohan Prabhu, you have a question?
Prabhuji, one question I had from the beginning. I mean, when Bhagavad Gita was introduced, even exalted soul like Srila Prabhupada or somebody like you or Narottam Prabhuji who are advancing in the journey, or humble souls like me, one thing is very sure: we all believe Krishna is the Supreme Lord and there is no competition over there. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, anybody who knows my transcendental nature will not come into this cycle of birth and death. Keeping that on one side, we also say that saying once Harinam or Ajamal, just because by saying Narayan, he goes to the abode. But somehow I feel, even if I read all the books, even if I dedicate completely, there is no guarantee that I'll go to Goloka after this lifetime. So I feel there is a subtle contradiction. One is that just by knowing Krishna is the supreme deity, neither me nor any one of us present over here has any challenge towards that. We accept it wholeheartedly. Does it mean that we'll go to Goloka once we leave the body?
So nice question, Raji. So knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one part, and second part is what are we going to do about it? Now, when we say Roger Federer is #1 tennis player in the world, I don't know whether he is #1 now.
No, he is not #1.
He used to be. He used to be, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So assume this is that time when he is #1, and I just started learning tennis. If there is a ranking, I could be, whatever. Can I become #100 tennis player in the world?
May not.
Now this is maybe, but there is maybe also, right?
Yeah.
Now I may not become #1, but I can become 100, or I can become at least 500 tennis player in the world. So this is where this is the contradiction part of it, that we may accept Roger Federer as #1. We don't have to dispute it because he's there. However, I think I also can become #500 tennis player in the world. Even if out of 1,000 I become 500 tennis player, I'm still better. Fortune 500, I can become amongst them. So this is the error in knowledge. What is the error is Krishna is not #1. Krishna is transcendental to the numbers. Krishna is not part of this ranking system at all.
Absolutely.
Now this is different, and he's #1. Now that there's difference between these two things.
Right.
But when we take Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and beyond and transcendental to the whole creation, the whole number game, he's beyond all that numbers. Then should we then try to be small Krishna in our own way, or should we become surrender to Krishna and become serving him wholeheartedly? So this is the choice that we are not able to take. We continue to remain in competition of Krishna. This choice, if we don't make, we continue to remain competitor of Krishna. We want to have my own empire. I wish to have my own wealth. I have to have my own opulence. I wish to have my own sets of enjoyments without which I cannot do. Now, not that devotees don't enjoy food, not that devotees don't have facility to live, but there is a subtle difference. There is no mentality to enjoy amongst devotees. Devotees accept whatever given by Krishna. So they make the effort is same, but the result, whatever comes, they accept it as mercy of Krishna. Whereas a person who is a practicing devotee, or he's not even me, including we are not elevated by any means. So even us will strive for results and we'll feel bad when the results don't come our way. Now this is a contradiction, because the Krishna teaching says that you can only put effort using your qualities that are given by Krishna, and you should accept whatever result that comes your way. now now when we so it's a error in application of knowledge on our part, which keep us in doubt whether we can achieve the ultimate aim that we have. Take case of Ajamil, where he chanted Narayan at the moment of death. He remembered his son Narayan, and while he was about to leave his body, and the Vishnu Dutas arrived. Now this is an example. This is an example of extraordinary mercy shown by Lord. Now, can Lord repeat this kind of a mercy to us also? Even though we all may agree that Ajamil was probably not eligible to receive this kind of mercy by his own contribution, by his own effort. उसका अगर उसका file खोल के देखेंगे, तो we will realize that Yamadutas were also right, that he had done everything under the sky to become a fit candidate for Yamaloka or Yamadutas, but Lord chose to give him special mercy. Now, as a devotee, what should be our mood is not to expect a similar mercy like the Lord had given it to Ajamil. Not that Lord cannot repeat his miracle, but as a devotee, because this is his love that he's showing, that he says he's showing that he can go to any extent to reclaim a devotee who was once a devotee, but if he has fallen down, Krishna can go to any extent to reclaim his devotee. Now he's showing this by an example which gets captured as a scripture. However, as a matter of, so that shows how much Krishna loves us. Now, as a reciprocation, what should be our mood? Our mood should be that I will ensure that I will not fall down. I will not do anything that will create a situation for Krishna to where I land up being another Ajamil. That should be mood, because the loving sentiment is always followed by loving actions. Now, and it is reciprocal. When Krishna is demonstrating his love for us, it's up to us to demonstrate similar feelings for him, and not only express the feelings, but also act according to those feelings. So for us to ensure that we do not become next Ajamil is our contribution in this whole relationship. When that happens, and when we continue to accept every result, that is whatever situation that we get into, we continue to accept it as Krishna's mercy and continue to serve Krishna in that situation also. We are in very good consciousness. We would have developed very good consciousness, because there our only desire is to serve Krishna. Our only desire is to serve Krishna, no matter what situation we may land up ourselves in. So from example of Srila Prabhupada, we often quote that from the comforts of Vrindavan, where he was a 70-year-old man, sannyasi, that too a sannyasi, he knew people in Vrindavan, whole Vrindavan knew him, the whole town knew him. Do you think he would not have got food for next 12 years that he lived after that? He would have got food also, right? He was already living in a temple, a beautiful temple, and he could have got provided for how much food he need. And in a dham like Vrindavan, where no sadhu sleep hungry, no need for him to worry. So he did not go to United States for his maintenance to get better facility. He went to United States and undertook all the face all the miseries of cold weather, brute people, bad behaving people, hippies, and did lots of austerities. The whole sea voyage itself was an austerity for him, for that old man who suffered 2 heart attacks. But he took every difficult situation, from comfort to difficult situation that he himself put him to, because of his innate desire to serve Krishna. And in every situation, he used to continue to think how best he can serve Krishna. If that becomes your motive, then there is nothing left for you to do. Now, then everything is left for Krishna to do. Because as long as you are in this zone where you are doing all your activities you are directing towards serving Krishna in every condition, in every situation, because situations that you will face will have a daiva element in it. They will come because of their past karma. So they may be pleasant, they may not be pleasant. And how much desire you have to worship and serve Krishna in all those situations will determine how much we have progress in bhakti. And if you could demonstrate those service desire, service attitude, to always remain in service of Krishna, always chant Krishna's name, and take his shelter and do everything for him. If we can maintain that mood, then Krishna guarantees that we will go back to Godhead. So he does not want us to rely on the one abstract example of mercy that he had shown, but he wants us to follow the process. But he says, worst case scenario, I can do that also, but why will I not help you if you happen to be in good zone? So he's encouraging us to remain in good zone, not to get into the zone where Ajamil landed up himself into. So yes, we can have doubts, we can continue to pray. If we have doubts, we will have prayerful mood also. Otherwise, if we become too complacent, then we may stop chanting also. So it's good to have slight doubts. It's good to use little breaks, while in spite of no matter how smooth our highway is, we may find highway very smooth, but we don't forget breaks. It's good to test those breaks in between. But yeah, use accelerator also wherever you find yourself on a nice highway. So take maximum advantage and do maximum bhakti, maximum service to Krishna. And Krishna has guaranteed that he will help devotees to burn their past karmas and also take them back to Godhead. So we will go with his faith, and Krishna will help.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Any
Krishna,
other?
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful session and the discussion you just poured in, means the various comments shared by other devotees. It was just wonderful, means many aspects, there was a big horizon of the thought process and the learnings that came out of various lectures. It came in, and it was just truly wonderful to know many aspects of Krishna consciousness, how we are benefited, means learning from devotees altogether. And ultimately the last answer you just gave. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for all the nectarian session. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. So if there are no more questions, yeah, we can end today's session. Thanks everyone for nice participation. Thanks, Mayor Prabhu.
Thank
We
you,
can end
Prabhuji.
today's
Hare
session.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare